Hello and welcome everybody, this is Kuman's Pets, I'm TJ, this is Mrs. Gray, and today we're going to talk about leopard geckos and why they make such great pets. This is not a care guide, so please, if you do want a care guide, go look at Clint's Reptiles or Wicked's Reptiles or Snake Discovery. They all have care guides on these guys that I really do appreciate. Those guys are really informative on it. This is just to explain why they make such a great pet and what's so interesting about them. Firstly, they are of the reptile family. Leopard geckos come from the area that's natively from Iran, Afghanistan and northwest India, which means that they are in semi-deserts, but they in these semi-deserts live in small micro-habitats that's usually on rocky outcrops or near a river or pool, which means that the first initial thought that you will have of them living in a desert area with a lot of sand and stuff like that is completely actually just wrong. They're mostly on rocks, somewhere where they can scurry off into a place where they can hide away and just enjoy themselves during the day. These guys are crepuscular, which means that they are awake mostly at dawn and dusk, so they have very sensitive eyes. And due to that, having your leopard gecko out for prolonged time during the day in the sun is not advisable, but it's not going to harm them at all. It's just not advisable. So I would say the best time to have your gecko out and about during the day would be at dawn or dusk. Let them bask a little bit in the natural sunlight. Best thing you can do for your leopard gecko, it's vitamin D, UVB rays. I suggest it to anybody who wants to own a leopard gecko. So why do they make such a great pet? Well, firstly, although she's a little bit fired up right now and wants to walk all over the place and explore everything and just excited of being out, they just want to hang around and be with you. So you can leave them on your shoulder and watch your favorite YouTube channel if you want to, and they will just stay there, and then you can just move them back. They will hold on to you like that with their little nails. They will just sit there the whole time, and that's what makes them so awesome. They are actually quite a reptile that's durable when it comes to handling. For small children, I do not prefer these. They are quite flimsy, if I can say that. I don't think that's the right word to say. But they are soft, easy to hurt. So I would say children from around 8 years old and up is the best age from which you can get a leopard gecko for. They can drop this tail, so just grabbing onto it and holding onto them like that is not a great idea. They will regrow it, but it will never look the same. She hasn't dropped the tail yet, as you can see. She's got all of the coloring still there and the shape is still correct. And yes, it's fat. It's really fat. They are close cousins to the African fat-tailed gecko, and both of these geckos are known for actually reserving fats inside the tail, which means that in your drier months, these geckos will be able to go longer without food and then use the tails as a food source for that time. So when they get into springtime, they are quite thin on the tail region and stuff like that, because during the winter, during the dry season, there's not a lot of food around, but after spring they are quite fat again and they are back up and running again. And we can try to replicate that in captivity, but we don't have to. In fact, that is the nice thing about captivity, is we can just keep them on a rigid schedule for feeding, just to see that they don't get overweight. She's a little bit overweight, but that happens with everything in captivity, including myself. I've got a little belly myself. How can I not give a belly to my little gecko? That's just wrong. No, you just keep her on a schedule. It's every 4 to 7 days. That would be nice. Just a perfect time for them to feed, and you will see that your gecko is going to be food happy all the time. Feeding them more often will result possibly in a gecko that's quite how can I say, full of crap when it comes to food. They will start refusing food some days, and sometimes they will even go weeks without eating if they get offered food too much. And the other reason, there's several reasons for them not eating, including from when they're shedding. But usually these guys are just quite food happy. I don't have a problem with them eating, and they completely change their attitude when they go into food mode. This cute little leopard gecko can become a complete predator once she goes into food mode. And if I'm a cricket or a mealworm or anything like that that's on her list, I am going to crap myself if I see one of them, because there's no escape. Literally, there's no escape. These guys are fast, they are ferocious, and they will swallow you in 2 gulps. She's at this moment, she's now calming down, she's just sitting, hanging out. When is the best time to handle your gecko? Well, that will be at night, probably when you get home from work, or when your mom and dad gets home from work. Due to the fact that they are crepuscular, that's the time when they are awake as well, so that's when they're going to be up and about, moving around, and going to get up into all sorts of shenanigans, just being geckos. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is, well, I say she's a gecko and she doesn't have any toe pads like your morning geckos or your tropical house geckos. So she can't climb up walls or windows. That's because from where they come from. Where they come from, most of where they need to climb up to or how they get around is rocks and grasslands. So the best possible way for them to move about is by having little nails on the tips of their toes that just dig into the rocks or the grassland, and that helps them to move around quite fast and quite rapidly. So that makes them a little bit odd for a gecko, as their toes are much more like a skink than a gecko, if I can give it a comparison. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just something else that's quite nice about them. Being a lizard means that you can almost see right through their head, which is quite awesome. If you look at the backside of the ears, I don't think I'm going to have a nice close-up shots from this. Okay, Charlotte said she's going to upload a photo of how it looks, what it looks like, but you can almost see right through the eardrums to the other side. This is just how the ears are designed, which is quite awesome. It's something completely unique and something that's just, it's amazing. There's no other words for it. These little guys are very soft at the belly, as you can see there, and just trying to get up now. And how you can tell the difference between a male and a female is a male will actually have a triangle-shaped row of scales on the cloaca, which isn't always easy to see. So sometimes you will get sold a male that's actually a female, or a female that's actually a male, which happened to me. That's why her name is Mrs. Gray. Only when she got older we could verify their age completely, and we saw she's a female. It does happen, don't worry about it. A reputable breeder will be able to tell you from birth if it's a male or female. So I would suggest going to a reputable breeder, but these guys are usually healthy in general. They're easy to find and in several different morphs. You can find them in several different colors, including a, what do they call it again? I think it's Black Knight, which is a completely black gecko with a stunning white stomach. It almost makes it look like a great white. In fact, much more just striking, the color variation on that gecko. They are now the most expensive morph on these geckos, but they are also the morph that I want the most on these geckos. You also get the Enigma geckos, which are completely beautiful, but I would not suggest anybody to get one due to Enigma syndrome, and I will do another video on that, because I do have one and I can show you what is wrong with it, and why we should not breed the Enigma syndrome anymore. But I'll talk about that later on. Just for further references, guys, this is a normal, so wild type. So if you go into Afghanistan, Iran or Iraq, even northwest India, this is the color you will find in the wild. They are this color due to where they come from. From a distance they are hard to see, you know, just blending in with the sand and the rocks. The spots on the top of them are unique to each gecko, and also helps with hiding because it breaks out the outlining of the gecko, so that gives off a contrast that will confuse a predator in the wild. These guys, even though they're also small and fragile, are actually quite comfortable being with humans, which is surprising, and that's why they make such great pets. I have seen some that isn't comfortable at being handled, but in my experience most of the geckos are really comfortable with being handled, as long as you do not either drop them or grab onto their tail. There's no problems. These geckos do shed their skin completely, like almost all reptiles, but you will not find shed skin in their cages, and that's because they do eat their skin. There's many theories on why they eat their skin, if it's for protein, nutrients, or if it's for just hiding where they are, because some animals like snakes can, you know, smell the skin and then track down where they are, you know, after a freshly shed skin. So there's still quite a lot of debate in herpetology from why they do eat their skin, but they do. Same like with crested geckos and other types of geckos like the green day gecko. They all do eat their skin, which is just weird. And another fun fact from why I do have these geckos. Why do I not have a native gecko like a tropical house gecko in South Africa? Firstly, it's hard to get one. Secondly, I do not have a permit yet. And thirdly, these guys just got my attention first. They are cute in several different ways, and if you can look at their eyes, it almost looks like a geographical map. Their eyes are extremely detailed, and it's just something that pulls you in and makes you want to look at them for hours on end without anything to do else. You just want to look at them and just be in awe of how amazing nature can be. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos, and we'll be uploading